Today I am flying Vietjet, Vietnam's largest budget carrier. The journey will take us from Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan all the way down to Ho Chi Minh City. Join me as I'll give my 2 cents on whether Vietjet is a good airline and how they stack up against the competition in Southeast Asia. The adventure begins in downtown Kaohsiung. Good morning and welcome back to another flight review. I am currently traveling from downtown Kaohsiung to the airport by metro. The city's public transit network is excellent and getting to the airport is a piece of cake. As such, the red metro line will take you to Kaohsiung International Airport in about 25 minutes for less than $1. And here we are, KHH International Airport. Operational since 1965 and renovated in the 90s, this is Taiwan's second busiest airport with about 4 million yearly passengers. My flight today is VJ885, departing Kaohsiung at 12:40 p.m. and arriving in Saigon at 2:50. Flight time will be 3 hours and 10 minutes. As usual, you can find the detailed flight stats down in the description. My Vietjet adventure did not start well at all. There was no online check-in, so I had to queue at the counter, but I didn't have any bags to drop. However, once I got to the check-in desk, the rather frosty agent asked me to weigh my carry-on. It was 8.7 kilos. The second she saw that number on the machine, her response was, "Sir, you have to pay. We allow 7 kilos and you cannot take this bag on board. You have to check it in." I told her that I can't check this bag because it is full of batteries. I then suggested that I simply take out my laptop and tablet and put them in a plastic bag. This would certainly take away 1.7 kilos. But no. She didn't budge and repeated her favorite phrase, "Sir, you have to pay." I then explained the situation to her supervisor and told him that I don't even have a second bag to check in. His rather nonchalant reply was, "Well, you can go to the store and buy a suitcase." Yeah, I wasn't gonna convince them. At this point, I was also a bit pissed off. Yes, my luggage was 1.7 kilos too heavy and it was my own fault. However, in the last 8 months, I have taken this exact same bag with the exact same weight onto about 10 different airlines, including AirAsia and Cebu Pacific, and none of them had any problems with it. And then there was the attitude of Vietjet's check-in agent and supervisor. They both clearly had dollar signs in their eyes. Anyhow, I wasn't gonna buy a suitcase, so I ended up checking in my laundry bag. Looks ridiculous, I know, but it was my only choice. They then charged me $25 and only accepted cash, which is absolutely laughable in 2024. One trip to the ATM later and I was finally checked in. $25 isn't an outrageous amount, but this whole experience was a bit of a shit show. And yes, I said in my AirAsia review that you shouldn't blame the airline if you rock up with too much luggage. And I am not blaming them for charging me, but I am blaming them for their attitude. I had already paid for 2 add-ons when I booked, and this money-grubbing mentality just left a sour taste in my mouth. It feels like Vietjet are extremely motivated to charge their customers extra at every opportunity. I have a lot of experience with low-cost carriers and I know for a fact that the majority would have accepted my plastic bag solution. But yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with the actual flight, so let's head over to the gate. Security and immigration were super efficient and I was at the gate area in about 10 minutes. The departure zone is pretty standard with a few shops and restaurants, comfortable seating and a lovely little garden. As we still have some time to kill, let's talk a bit about Vietjet. Founded in 2007, Vietjet is the first privately owned airline in Vietnam and witnessed massive growth in recent years. In the 2010s, Vietjet became known for organizing some rather controversial publicity stunts, including female FAs wearing bikinis on a charter flight. And yeah, the airline has a pretty mixed reputation, to put it mildly. Vietjet has only been flying since 2011, and this is the size of their Wikipedia section titled Accidents and Incidents. You can draw your own conclusions from that. Today, they have a fleet of 89 planes and 343 on order. They fly to about 100 destinations in 13 countries. So yeah, Vietjet is a pretty controversial airline, but they are also highly successful. And here comes my ride to Saigon, an 8-year-old Airbus A321-200. It arrived at the gate around 50 minutes before the scheduled departure time. Akin to other low-cost airlines, Vietjet requires very short turnovers in order to minimize their plane's time on the ground. Boarding was relatively efficient and I made my way through the jet bridge onto this A321. There are 230 seats and the front rows as well as extra legroom seats naturally cost more. I am sitting in 7 Alpha today, a window seat at the front. The product is pretty standard, in line with the competition. The legroom is limited but okay for shorter journeys. There is a small tray table and a seat back pocket. As you can see, the cleanliness of the cabin wasn't the best. On the plus side, the seat does recline. Carrying a slight delay, we started taxiing out to the runway.
Whenever the seatbelt sign is on, you must return to your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Đây là mặt nạ dưỡng khí. This is your oxygen mask. Trong trường hợp mất áp suất, mặt nạ dưỡng khí sẽ tự động rơi xuống từ hộc phía bên trên ghế ngồi của quý khách.
We took off at 12:57 p.m., 17 minutes behind schedule. Around 20 minutes into the flight, I got my pre-ordered meal. Vietjet offers a vast selection of meals and beverages to buy on board, but it's cheaper if you pre-order. On my flight, there was an Indian menu card which was left over from an earlier journey, so this isn't what they actually offered. The full menu looks like this, but it's hard to know how much will be available on any given flight if you don't pre-order. And surprise, surprise, Vietjet does not accept any form of card or digital payment on board. Only good old hard cash. Not exactly a sign of innovation. My pre-ordered meal was Thai fried rice with some nuts, and it was pretty okay. Nothing spectacular, but perfectly acceptable. The rest of the flight was pretty uneventful. Vietjet has no in-flight entertainment whatsoever and no Wi-Fi, but I didn't mind as I was sitting in front of the engine. The cabin crew were professional but cold, just like the check-in agents. The loo was clean and nicely decorated. We landed in Saigon at 2:45 p.m., 5 minutes early. Our A321 parked at a remote gate, meaning that we would get to the terminal by bus. Interestingly enough, we had to change buses in the middle of the apron. Not sure what that was all about. I paid $148 for this journey, out of which 38 were add-ons. Not a bad deal, but not super cheap either. So yeah, this flight was okay, but here's why I don't recommend Vietjet. On the vast majority of routes, with the notable exception of Australia, you can always find similarly priced flights on other airlines. As an example, I could have flown Vietnam Airlines, which is a really good full-service carrier from Taiwan to Vietnam for about $5 more, luggage and food included. And that is one of my main issues. Most of the time, Vietjet isn't cheaper than other low-cost airlines and sometimes comparable to full-service carriers. As such, unless you find a really good deal, I would go for AirAsia instead. They are more consistent and the overall experience is better. By the way, here's my stupid laundry bag arriving on the luggage belt. All things considered, Vietjet gets a 6 out of 10. Not great, not terrible. As always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thanks very much for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye.